It's that time. I have to start wiring the car, and I just got to start with one wire. There's a lot of wires, but it all starts with one wire, and I'm just going to keep trying to pick off one wire at a time. Don't really know what I'm doing, but I made some diagram of some sort, and I'll show you that. But right now, I'm basically going to just work for a couple days, wire what I can. Hopefully we get a lot done, and we can start the car soon. That's the plan. Welcome to Wrenching to Race. I'm your guy, Jay, and it's sunny out here, and it's actually fairly warm. So I'm up here solo, and that's all. All right, so here is what I drew up. Here are some sheets. Here are some pieces. This is actually the power and starter line that goes from the switch panel, but we're doing something different. This is the front side of the switch panel, which is what we used on the GTI. This is from the original wiring diagrams from the Megasquirt. That basically goes there. But a lot of these relays, are now this MGI Speedwear relay box. So MGI puts together a really amazing box. I'll show you that in a minute. And so basically, I'm using the do-it-yourself Megasquirt wiring diagram, the RCP4 Gen 1.2, 4 Bosch relay setup. This will be the main relay that will power up the Megasquirt. It has a flyback diode set on it, so it'll protect it from any sort of power stuff. R2 will be the fuel pump, which will be triggered by the Megasquirt number 37. Goes from here, up, and then switches relay 2. Power comes down here and basically is sent to a fuse box that I have to still put together, because from this fuse box, you have the fuel pump, all 4 injectors, you've got your crank position sensor, and I think one other thing, power to the coils. So that's what that goes to. And then the way this works up here, your kill switch is here. So you take your positive from your battery, run it to the top switch, the big bolt, which is a 3/8. There's a jumper that goes from A to B. And then B is where the power comes in from the alternator. And then A, which is getting switched on by the kill switch, then powers up the main relay system right here through this fuse, protected by this fuse, and goes in the back here, little screw diagram. So the switch panel will be powered up by this as well, and will run off of the switch panel. The starter button will hit the starter for the solenoid. This first wire is the ignition switch, and that will go up here and turn on the Megasquirt. And that's about it right now. I'm not doing any lights, any fans, anything like that. I'm just trying to get things wired so that we can get it running. I'll put like some lighting and fans and some other stuff in this spot here and draw little lines, the same color lines to that. But this is version 1. Hopefully I'll make a nicer one and print it out. I'll draw it up on a program and print it out. I guess I just got to start doing it, and I'll try and film very exciting things in terms of cutting wires, crimping wires, and doing all that. So that's it. Stay tuned. It's going to be really, really fun. All right, it's late. I'm gonna go to bed because I need to get some sleep. But so far, I mounted the kill switch, hooked up the battery to kill switch wire, kill switch jumper to alternator, hooked up the alternator, hooked up the starter wire from the switch here. I got the main power going all the way to the relay board. And then I have main power ready to go to the fuse box, which I have to get tomorrow. But I have the switch out from the main relay to, oh yeah, that goes to the ignition switch. So the ignition switch turns on, and then it turns on the relay. The relay then powers up the Megasquirt. Here's what it all looks like. Here's the starter switch, and then behind the starter switch you can see what's going on. Most of the cables are run somewhat temporary. I mounted this by just using a couple of zip ties just so I could put it in some sort of position. I got this wire that's for the starter. That's hooked up to the starter. This main wire that's coiled over. I'm not sure where this is going to get placed right now. So I basically just left it long, but plugged it into the main power input. There's a 70 amp fuse in line right there. And then here on relay 1, you have the switch from the ignition switch, and then you have the ground. And then for the grounds, oh here, I'll show you. We have the starter wire going to there, and then we have the alternator wire that's hooked up. And then I mounted a multi-point ground, and then I welded on a new ground to the roll cage. So welded that on, so that should be a good solid ground. And then I'll just keep plugging away. I gotta try and find some small little screws, little micro screws for that. But that's it. That's the recap, at least. I'll try and do some more filming tomorrow. Here by myself, it's a little tough. Day 2 of solo wiring the Golf coming up tomorrow. Get some sleep. See ya. All right, officially day 2 of solo wiring work. I got a bunch of stuff done yesterday that will help get the ball rolling in terms of like grounds and power run to the alternator, or alternator wire run to the kill switch, all that kind of stuff. And basically mounted the Megasquirt and the MGI relay box. So from here, basically, I have to just start running wires from the specific sensors and stuff like that. I'm going to try and do the fuel pump stuff first. I'm going to make a bunch of grounds for all the relays so I could just get those done. And that is about it right now. And then I'm going to make a ground for the fuse panel as well, the quick car switch panel. And we'll see how that goes. I wish the car wasn't a catch-all for all the spare shit we have, but that's how it goes. I just had to go to AutoZone and get a 6-position fuse block so I could power all this up. All right, amazing, amazing stuff. Can't wait. Well, Wrenching to Race fans, we got far, but we didn't get far enough. I figured out which wires we don't need, and I figured out which wires we do need. And in figuring out which wires we do need, I labeled them all. So next time I'm up here, we can start connecting all these wires. Also, we did some infrastructure work, Mango and I. Put in this fancy new ground strap. Goes from there to the starter bolt. Figuring that's okay because it's going into the block right there. We also have a really shitty fuse block, which is there temporarily. I've got power run to the various things. Crank position sensor, fuel bank 1, fuel bank 2, fuel pump, and the coil. All those get switched by the Megasquirt via the relay, the number 2 fuel pump relay. We still have a bunch of other stuff to do, but I did get the starter wire run. That's run all the way back to the switch. That's the starter wire. That's the alternator wire. What else do we do? This wire, that's the switch wire for the Megasquirt. This gives the Megasquirt power. So that's done, that's good. We also finished that up and we connected all the grounds from the switch panel and from the relay board onto that fancy new ground. And then we connected relay 1 and relay 2. We still have to do the load out for relay 2. That will happen soon. And then that's about it. I guess just putting in all of the different stuff takes time because I have to basically make every wire that we're using. That's it for now. I got pretty far, but I think it's pretty close to almost getting done. I just have to figure out a couple things as far as sensors and where they get plugged in and stuff. And then there's a couple plumbing things left. We still have to do the coolant out of the turbo, tie it in with this outlet here from the motor, and then the overflow tank here and there. And then that all gets rerouted back over to that guy. I think I'm gonna just tee into that and then plug that to that. So that's it for now, Mango. Any words of wisdom?
Make friends.
Well said, well said. Now it's cleanup time. Cooper is not home. We've been here without him. Oh, and we have a fuel pump that doesn't want to work. So that's a problem. But I guess we just buy another fuel pump, whatever. Okay. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Be kind to animals and other
40%
people.
cold.
40% cold, 80% party?
Nice.
Don't forget that.